Good morning, everyone. As you might remember, my name is Rachel and this is my puppy Tilly. And we're here at home this morning, just like most of you. And we've been asked by your teachers to help you think about the question of when do we find it easy to follow instructions or do what we're told? And when do we find it harder to follow instructions or do what we're told? Perhaps you'd like to pause the video at home and have a think about when do you find it easy to follow instructions? When do you find it easy to follow instructions? So I wonder what answers you came up with. When do you find it easy to follow instructions or do what you're told? Is it when the instructions seem easy to do, like when your teacher says, hang up your bag on your peg, or it's time for playtime now, go out to play, and you know that there's something fun that's going to happen? Or do you find it easy to follow instructions when you're in a good mood, when you feel happy and excited and energetic? You find it easy to say, yes, mum, or yes, dad, I will do my homework today at home. And I wonder, when do you find it harder to follow instructions? When do you find it harder to do what you're told? Perhaps you'd like to pause the video now while you have a think about that question. I wonder what answers you came up with. When do you find it harder to follow instructions or do what you're told? Is it when things seem tricky? Like maybe you've been asked to do a maths problem you find really challenging and you're not quite sure when to start. Or maybe is it when you wake up in a bad mood and you feel grumpy or you're scared of something or you're worried or you feel angry and you don't want to do what you've been asked. That's when it might be harder to follow instructions. Tilly sometimes finds it easy and hard too, and she's made you a video of a time when she finds it easy and a time when she's found it harder to follow instructions.
Sometimes Tilly finds it easy to do what she's been told, and sometimes she finds it hard, like when she wants to do something I don't want her to do, like dig a hole. Tilly, stop! But she finds it too fun, so she carries on. But if she thinks I'm going to play a game with her, she finds it easy. Tilly, sit! Because she knows she's going to get a reward. Find it, bring it here, good girl, bring it here, good girl. And then she gets given a little treat. So she finds it easy.
So we've been thinking about times when we find it easy to follow instructions and times when we find it hard. And I wonder, are there times when you haven't wanted to follow instructions or you haven't wanted to do what you've been told, but when you've done it, something good has happened after all? Like maybe on Christmas Eve, mum or dad or grandma or grandpa or whoever lives at home with you said, it's time to go to sleep now, and you didn't want to go to sleep and you didn't want to follow the instructions, but you did, and in the morning, maybe you found something exciting under the Christmas tree. And so even though you didn't want to follow the instructions, maybe it was good after all. Well, we're going to have a look at a story this morning about when Jesus asked his disciples to do something they didn't want to do, but they followed his instructions and something good happened after all. I wonder if you know what story it might be. Well, we're going to look at the story of when Jesus goes fishing. When Jesus goes fishing. One sunny morning, Jesus stood at the edge of the Lake of Galilee, teaching people how they could live with joy in all their hearts. And as he spoke, more and more people crowded around to hear. And Jesus had to step into a boat owned by Simon, who was a fisherman. Can you see the boat? And Jesus sat down, and from there he began teaching the people who had gathered on the shore. And when he had finished teaching, Jesus said, "Let's go fishing. Let's go out to sea." And Simon replied, "Master, we've been fishing all night and we didn't catch a thing." And then he sighed, "But if you want us to try again, if you want us to follow your instructions, we will." So they took the boat out into the deep water, and Simon and the other fishermen threw their nets into the sea. And soon They had caught so many fish that the boat began to sink. And amazed, Simon fell to his knees and he said, "Master, I am not good enough to be near you." "Don't be afraid," Jesus said. "Follow me and you will catch not just fish, you will catch people for God." And Simon and the other fishermen left their boats on the beach and followed Jesus. And they became his first disciples. So that was an example of how the fishermen didn't want to listen to Jesus. They didn't want to do what he'd asked. They'd already been fishing and they hadn't caught any fish. They didn't want to go again. But when they did, what happened? Well, they caught all of these fish. They caught all of these fish. And so we pray as we go about our tasks today at home that God might help us to follow him. And God might help us to follow instructions and do what we're told even when we don't want to. Even when we don't want to, from people that we love, knowing that those instructions are good for us. That those instructions are good with us. I hope you have a good day at your home school, or if you're in school today, I hope that you have a good day too. There are some songs on the screen just coming up that you might like to click on and sing along to or dance along to at home before you start your schoolwork if you would like to. Hope to see you soon.